Sharma. I'm a senior technical trainer in Digisol. So basically, I'm responsible for delivering trainings on various products as well as technologies for Digisol Pan India. So there are various courses which are available in DIT like FTTH course, wireless solutions, cabling expert, etc. So you can go on our website and check what are the courses offered, what we offer, and you can attend those courses. So something about Digisol. Digisol is basically a hardware manufacturing company for hardware networking devices. When I say networking devices, we are into both active and passive product line. So in active, we supply access points, controllers, routers, switching, etc. As well as on the passive side, we are into both copper and fiber product line. Also, we are into FTTH solution. So once a customer comes to us, we promise to provide end-to-end solution to them. So this is what we are. Our parent company named as SmartLink Holdings. So basically, we are a made in India company. We have all the manufacturing units in Goa itself. So SmartLink basically has three entities. Telesmart, who's responsible for manufacturing passive range of product. Cinegra, who's responsible for manufacturing active range of products, and we as Digisol, we are responsible for delivering sales, pre-sales, post-sales, training, marketing activities for both active and passive product line. So this was all about our company. What I'll do is I'll quickly show you a small video that will show the entire journey of Digisol over the past 30 years. You heard it right. We are into this industry from more than 3 decades now. So what I'm doing is I'm playing a small video clip on the screen. If somebody is unable to view or hear it, just let me know. So as you must have seen in video what products we are into, what verticals we are into. I hope you saw the video and understood it well. Okay, so before I'm presenting a screen, a slide on the screen. Just let me know if you are unable to view it. So the agenda for today's training will be, we'll understand the fiber basics. Although this is an advanced teachings for fiber to the home technology today, but we have to be thorough with the basics of fiber first. Reason is fiber to the home technology has a complete backbone of fiber. You can understand from the name itself, the backbone connectivity which fiber to the home technology utilizes is fiber itself. So it's really very important for you to understand which kind of fiber will be utilized in FTTH. What are the verticals where you can deploy these FTTH technologies? So basically there are multiple type of fiber cables. Which is the one which you cannot use in FTTH and why it is so? So we will understand these points. One more thing, when you start learning this technology, when you actually incorporate it in the real application, you will come across many different terminologies related to your FTTH. For example, wavelength, There will be technology such as terminology such as GPON, GPON. What are these technical terms and technical words that you might encounter in the technical data sheets of the products, as well as when you'll interact with the customers, they might speak these words. So you must know each and every basic terminology that I will make sure in today's training. Next, we will come on to the fiber product portfolio. Fiber product portfolio will be entirely used in FTTH also. In addition, there are certain products that are FTTH specified only, but most of the products that will be utilized will be of fiber itself. Then we'll come to the basics of FTTH. What are the advantages of FTTH over conventional technology, which are still being used in many places? What is PON? So what you hear for FTTH is maybe GPON or GEPON technology. PON is something which is common in both. What is the meaning of it and what importance it has in FTTH? We'll understand that. Next, since this is an advanced learning today, we'll understand what are the various topologies that you can use in while designing the BOQs. So it's not about only theoretical part. We will also cover today the practical real-time applications, what you will encounter in future. Then the design considerations, what are the components that will be used, which device will be placed at what location, how they will be connected to each other, how many fiber cores will have to be spliced, what are the cables that will be incorporated in it. We'll understand that design consideration. Next, we'll start up with the loss budget calculation. Once you are well versed with the basics of FTTH, what are the products that are involved into it, what is the connectivity, next what is come as loss budget calculation. See, once you have already designed the network, next part is testing the network. While testing, there are certain losses for sure that will happen in your fiber connectivity. We cannot erase those losses completely, but we need to understand what is the budget that we have in FTTH technology. So we have to maintain those loss budgets and then only our solution will be live. Otherwise, your solution will fail. Next is what is the difference between GPON and GEPON technology? What is the meaning of them? So normally when you talk to customer, you might encounter certain terminology that I have to use GPON technology, madam. Or sir, I want to go with GPON technology. What is the difference between them? And where you will suggest which kind of technology? Next point which you will cover is the best practices to be considered if somebody is into the troubleshooting. All after designing so much of network, minutely seeing the loss budget calculation, there are small things that may give a large losses in your design. So what are those small things that you need to keep in mind? We will discuss those best practices. Next, BOQ designing. I've taken certain examples that are already live in many parts of our country from Digisol. So I'm also responsible for designing the BOQs for our company. So I'll give you certain examples. I'll show you some of the case studies which are live in India, where they are. I'll make you understand that. Lastly, we'll cover the FTTH product portfolio. So this is the entire agenda for today. I have discussed this in detail so that you are aware of what things which we will cover today in the session. Let's start with the fiber basics. When I when I speak about fiber basics, see, this entire networking industry lies in to transmit your data from one point to other. If it is fiber, your data is in the form of light pulses that will transmit on the media, which is glass. While it was copper connectivity, your signals were in the form of electrical signals and your transmission media was copper metal. But in FTTH or a normal fiber connectivity, remember your data is in the form of light pulses and it will transmit on the light, on the glass. Why I'm discussing all this? Because this light pulses is associated with certain words that you will see in the technical data sheets of the FTTH product portfolio. What is the meaning of each and every word? I want you to understand that. So let's start with it. We know what is the basics of fiber. In market, when we talk about fiber cable, there are two kinds of fiber cable which are available. One is single mode fiber cable, other is multi-mode fiber cable. So is anyone aware of it? What kind of cable will be utilized for what kind of situations? Anyone would want to answer this? See, what we normally know is single mode fiber cable, they are used for longer distances. As compared to your multi-mode fiber cable, they are used for smaller distances communication. Correct? In multi-mode, there are various evolutions. Like in copper cable, we have Cat5e, Cat6, Cat6a cable. Similarly, in fiber, in multi-mode cable, you have OM1, OM2, OM3 and OM4 type of cables. So now I think OM5 is also introduced, which is specifically used in data centers and high-end verticals. Normally, we customers are more into OM3 and OM4 multi-mode cables. What you actually use in your FTTH solution is single mode type of cable. Always remember, this is the reason why I'm starting from this much basics. You need to understand that although there are two types of cable in your fiber cabling, single mode and multi-mode, but only single mode type of cable will be utilized in your FTTH solution. One more thing, in single mode, there are two types of cable which are available, OS1 and OS2. OS2 is the type which you will use in FTTH solution. You can note it down, you can learn this thing, keep this thing in your mind that FTTH only utilizes OS2 type of single mode fiber cable. Now why? If a customer asks to you why this is so, I have a multi-mode cable bundle, why cannot use that in FTTH? It is also fiber connectivity, right? In your multi-mode cable also, your data will be in the form of light signals and your transmission media is also glass. What is the difference between your multi-mode and single mode then? So the real difference will actually you will be able to understand this difference by learning the cable construction. What I'll do is I'll show you a cross-sectional view of this two types of cable. So I'm not aware you are inverse with it or not. If it is a, so let's consider a strand, fiber strand, which is present in your fiber cable. When you observe the fiber cable minutely, you can see there are thin fiber strands present inside it. So if it is a 6-core fiber cable, there will be 6 fiber strands present inside it. If it is a 48-core fiber cable, there will be 48 fiber strands. Okay, so what I'm drawing on the screen is that single fiber strand. Inside that fiber strand, you cannot see it with the naked eyes, but its construction is such that it has two portions. The innermost portion is known as core and the outermost portion is known as cladding. So the innermost portion is the area where actually your data transmits. This is the reason you must be observing that in market, the cables are available in the name of 6 core, 8 core, 24 core, 12 core like this. Core is the region where your data is transmitting. And this is also the area or the location which differentiates between the two cable. Your single mode cable is having a smaller core size. It is in the range of 8 to 9 microns only. Your multi-mode fiber cable has larger core size which lies between 50 micron to 62.5 micron. Micron is nothing but it is the unit to measure thickness. If you want to understand this in detail, you can see your hair. A human hair has a thickness of around 70 to 75 microns. You can understand if a single mode fiber cable has 8 to 9 micron core size, you cannot see it with your naked eyes. But still, that core is the area which makes the difference between the two cable. Now the question comes, why only single mode fiber cable is used in FTTH solution? So I will give you an answer like this. Since the core size for your single mode is small, is narrow, the transmission source which is used for single mode is laser in nature. So for example, you are connecting two active devices, okay? And if it is a single mode fiber cable, being having a smaller core size, the SFP transceivers, the modules which will be utilized in the active components will be laser in nature if it is a single mode. fiber. If it is a multi-mode fiber, the transmission source is LED. Now, laser has a nature to travel straight in line. On the contrary, LED gives a reliable transmission, but since it is having a nature of traveling in a zigzag motion, the data transmission is reliable, but it is reliable for small distances. This gives the difference since laser is something which travels straight in line to a long distances with low losses, and therefore your laser or a single mode fiber cable is used in FTTH solution and not your multi-mode cable. I hope you got the difference. If there is still doubt, I'll make you clear. I repeat, laser has a nature to travel straight for a long distances with less losses. That is the reason single mode fiber cable is only used in FTTH solution and not multi-mode cable. Any doubts till now? So this is one point that single mode cable will be used in FTTH solution. See, I take a lot of training sessions on passive also passive technology. That time I give detailed equip about the fiber technology, details of what are the different type of fiber. Here I'm not taking all that. I'm explaining the important pointers that will be used for FTTH technology. Next, whenever you will actually discuss this FTTH technology with the customers, they will always denote with certain wavelength. So this single mode works on certain wavelength, multi-mode fiber cable will work on other wavelength. What is this wavelength? Also, when you will see technical data sheets, if somebody is into technical designing, technical BOQs, or if you are into pre-sales, so you will definitely have to, associate it with certain technical data sheets. You will see these kind of technical words or technical numbers such as 1310 nanometers, 1490 nanometers. What is all these nanometers? What is the meaning of wavelength? See, since when I actually started the session, I discussed the very first thing which I told you is your data is in the form of light pulses. Since they are in the form of light pulses, light is always associated with wavelength. When I say copper connectivity, you must have observed that in copper always we discuss about frequencies. So frequencies are nothing but they are specified channels. So you can relate this with the FM radio channel. We all listen to radio channel, right? So on certain bands like 93.5, 94.3, so these are the bands on which certain data is present what we hear. Similarly, wavelengths are the specified channels on which your data will be transmitting or your data will be receiving. That means your data download or your data upload will happen or will occur on certain wavelength. So if it is a multi-mode fiber cable, the data download and upload will occur only in this range, 850 nanometers to 1300 nanometers. So now any product that will be multi-mode compatible will come only in this range, 850 nanometers to 1300 nanometer range. If it is a single mode fiber cable or fiber components, they will be in the range of 1310 nanometers and 1550 nanometers. If you are still confused, just remember one thing, your data, if it is traveling in single mode fiber cable, will have to be in the range of 1310 nanometers and 1550 nanometers. That's it. Since FTTH technology uses single mode fiber cable, all the data download or upload will happen only in this range only, 1310 nanometers and 1550 nanometers. Remember this, once I'll discuss about the products of FTTH, you will again get these values. You don't have to confuse yourselves at that particular time. Next, fiber connectivity. So I hope you must be well versed with this. I'll quickly revise it. So how connectivity happens is that there is a fiber active component. You take out a fiber cable for structure cabling. Just for termination, you terminate it to the LIU. How it happens is, so for example, it is a 6-core fiber cable. What technician does is he splices one single core with a pigtail, connect this pigtail connectorized end at the LIU. Through the adapter, you connect a fiber patch cord, connect another active component, or you can take it to a longer distances. It depends how the connectivity has to happen. Therefore, the products which will be used in your fiber connectivity are the adapters that will be connected in the front of your LIU. Next is your fiber cables. So fiber cable could be, if it is FTTH, it will be only single mode fiber cable. If it is a normal fiber connectivity, it can be single mode or multi-mode fiber cables. Fiber patch cords, which are required to connect to active components or a active component and a termination box. Pigtails. So pigtail, the difference between your patch cord and a pigtail is a cable very soft and flexible. It is connectorized at only one end and open at other end. This open end is kept to splice your core of this fiber cable, and it is made soft and flexible so that it can rest inside LIU. LIU is nothing but the termination box for your copper, for your fiber. So this is how LIU looks like. We have different versions of LIU. It can be a rack mounted LIU. It can be a wall mounted LIU. We also have beam rail mounted LIUs, which comes in 6 or 12 ports. So normally I've seen vendors, manufacturing companies, they come up with 24 or 48 port LIUs, but we have also 12 and 6 port LIUs. So if a customer requires less number of ports, he can go with those. So these are the